My name is Kevin Harris. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for AGS Stainless. We're going to be talking about the process of cleaning your stainless steel railing system once it's installed. So our company, AGS Stainless, we specialize in stainless steel railing systems. And I have with me today as my guest, Barry Feinman from Restoration ArTechs. He's a metal restoration expert, cleaning expert for metal. And we're going to be talking about the best way to go about keeping your railing system looking as new through the years. So after the railing system gets installed, there is a specific process that will deliver for you the results you're looking for and just really help you to always feel really, really good about your decision to use 316 marine grade stainless on your home or office. So with that, I'm going to introduce Barry. Well, Barry, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Absolutely, it's my privilege.
So what I wanted to do for all of our builders, remodelers, contractors,
Sure.
our dealers, is put together an instructional video that will help them both explain to their clients that it's called stainless steel, not stain-free steel, right?
Right.
It's going to need some maintenance over time, especially if you're by salt water or chlorine pools, things like that.
Right.
So we tell our dealers and builders all the time that the marine grade stainless steel, the 316, is a good material choice for these kinds of situations.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd like to do, Barry, is have you just walk us through the process of bringing stainless back to that as new condition.
Sure.
So let's just imagine the railing system's installed, the homeowner's been gone for a while, and some staining has started. Starting from that point and moving forward, how do we go through bringing back that as new appearance?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's also important quickly to understand, you mentioned the hydrochloric acid or the chlorine, and then also the salt there, which is sodium chloride. So the important element there is the chlorine. And chlorine and metals are not friendly, okay? And what happens is the chlorine, which separates the molecule, binds to steel very strong. And even though you think you wash it off and it looks pretty for the moment, the chlorine is still there, very active, and it's eating on the stainless steel. So that's a very important distinction there, because it takes a special kind of process that will remove it and strip it off the surface thoroughly. And that's what we have here.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so what we've put together, and we do a lot of this work, we're on the west coast of the United States, and we come to across this issue quite a bit with cable rail. Particularly, this is our first experience with the Cascade, beautiful system that you have. Your railing, as you create it, there are two different kind of paths. One is a long linear path, which the grain is going the long distance, and then you also have a circumferential path where the grain is going around the tube,
Right.
the circumference of the tube. Now, typically, you want to stay in the direction of the grain.
Okay.
But the product that we're going to introduce to you doesn't change the grain. So it can be done either direction, and it's both, each way is very efficient.
So that simplifies the cleaning process.
That's right.
Because you don't have to stay in the grain.
Right,
Got it.
right. We'll be demonstrating that here in a second.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're physically going to break this bond that we're talking about, this chloride bond, and we're going to remove the staining. All right. As you suggested, 316 is a very, very stout and very sturdy stainless steel. Your ocean-going vessels are 316, but even on an ocean-going vessel at 316, they still get rust. All right. Hence the need for a Brasso or a Bright Boy or some similar type of cleaning compound. What we don't want to do is we don't want to substitute our process on your rails, because those products contain ammonia, and ammonia historically is not good for stainless steel.
Okay.
Okay, it can aggravate the chromium level that protects the stainless steel. Our product doesn't have ammonia.
Excellent.
Okay, it has a basis of polymers and microabrasives. So again, we're going to be demonstrating the effectiveness of it. So we're going to be doing a demonstration on this. Then the second part of our process is a coating. And our coating is an acrylic very easy to apply. It goes on and it dries in 15 seconds. As soon as you put it on, it's dry to the touch.
Nice.
Okay? But it's UV stable, non-yellowing, won't flake, won't peel, won't chip, and yet it can be restored in the field very easily as well.
Fantastic.
Okay? So we put together the best system for you, and we're very proud to bring it to you.
How does it work? I'm ready. Show
All right.
me.
So we are going to identify this localized area right now, and you can see the brown tea staining, as they say, which occurs on stainless steel on occasion, again from the chlorine in the environment. So before we start, always want to emphasize safety when working with chemicals. So this is a nitrile glove. I'm going to put these on here in a second. In the anticipation that we drip any of our chemical on the floor, this happens to be a Trex plastic composite decking, so we don't know if it's going to damage that in terms of absorption. I highly doubt that on this, but if it's a wood structure or any other kind of material, there may be some negative impact. So we put down plastic, 1 or 2 mil plastic, just for protection. We'll have control over the product throughout the use. So this is Ghostbuster. Ghostbuster is our offering. We manufacture this product as Barry's Restored all products. So my company is a retail product line as well as a service company. So this Ghostbuster is a micro abrasive with about 2,000 grit abrasive compound with polymers. There is no ammonia in this particular product, so it's very safe to your stainless steel and other metals. We're going to go ahead and apply this, although I've already opened up another bottle, so I'll use that one and use this for afterwards for demonstration. Here's our application product. Again, just a rough towel. You can buy these at Home Depot or Lowe's. And that's all we're going to use. Okay, let's get started. All right, back to us now. So again, Ghostbuster, and this is an integral product in the restoration of the metal. We're going to go ahead and just create a bead here. I'll leave this maybe on here so I don't knock it off. And we want to go ahead and just mold it in here. So you've got a bead of this. Again, if it's needed, we can go circumferential, which is going with the grain. I'm going to demonstrate both ways. As you can see, this is a wrist action, and if you've got a lot of metal, this can be a little tiring and time consuming. Here's the oxidation tarnish that's removed. What you're also going to feel as I do this, I feel the salt incrustation from the moisture. The moisture, the humidity, the dew in the evening carries salt from the surrounding area. Another element is with car pollution and airport pollution. You have an acid that's created. It's a sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is created by, again, gas pollution in combination with the chlorine, sodium chloride, and that'll make you sulfuric acid, which will eat your metal. So again, this is why we want to be on top of this and be very cognizant of you've got a beautiful investment. So here's a finished product right here. Now the interesting thing about Ghostbuster is it dries to a powder very quickly. So if I leave this on here for a little while, it'll get maybe a haze. What I could do right now is take a dry part of this and buff this off. And it's a brilliant tone. It's a brilliant color. So as the other way of doing this, and it's not much different, just want to keep a level of compound on here, keep it wet, is to go ahead and just go back and forth, because again, the abrasive that's in here is not substantial to scratch the metal. Again, we highlight this. I'm going to take a dry towel part here and just buff this. And Ghostbuster leaves a nice polymer on the surface, which repels water, repels moisture, long enough for us to do our next treatment. So I think we can look and we can tell that the significant difference is taking place here compared to other elevations that we haven't touched. That's how simple this is on the first step. All right, so now we want to address this post area right here and what we're calling the knuckle. This is the connector piece between the two pieces of pipe, this little knuckle here. So we'll address this area. On here, the grain is going up and down. And again, the nature of the Ghostbuster, the chemical itself won't change the grain. If you have too aggressive an applicator, it's possible you could address the grain and adjust the grain. But I'm going to try to stay in. We don't need much. Just spread it out here. We're going to go in the grain direction. And as soon as you break through that salt, which is what's creating this tea staining, the finish gets very, very gentle, very smooth. Here's your oxidation. You know, rust is, or this tea stain is nothing more than an oxide of the metal. And stainless steel, what makes stainless steel stainless is the passivation process, which differentiates it from your typical raw stainless or raw metal. All right, now that we've successfully cleaned the rust and the discoloration staining, and that's not just rust, but it could also be discoloration and bird dropping and things like that will come off easily. If there's any chemical stain that caused it to turn black or discolored beyond the red of rust, it'll remove that as well. Easy Armor, again by Barry's Restored All Products. This is an effective, easily applied acrylic coating. We're going to demonstrate this now. And this goes on, it has a toluene xylene base. Xylene is an active carrier, much like your acetone and such, but it leaves it on the surface a little longer. And also it's got the toluene, which is what you see in your model glue if you're a model builder. It's that kind of smell. So what you're going to smell when you're working with this is that model glue smell. So you don't necessarily want to do it inside a closed cabin area. You want to make sure you have good ventilation, as well as just circulation of air is good. Best applicator is a flat fold diaper. I went ahead and cut this from a larger diaper, but a flat fold diaper as opposed to your children's pull-up type diapers and things like that. This flat fold diaper, because when you put the solution on, it doesn't absorb into a sponge kind of texture. So you have good control of putting it back onto the surface. You'll see that demonstrated here in a second. Because of this tight rail bar here, sometimes getting in here with this might be problematic. So I picked this up here at the Home Depot. It has a small sponge bar, so you are going to get some pickup of absorption, but it should be a nice applicator. We're going to try it out. What you don't want is too much of a sponge that then you have drips going down along this rail. We'll talk about drips in a second as well, because they're easily repaired. Now we've been using this, I did say don't use a sponge applicator, but what's nice about this particular one that we sell, it has a plastic liner down the middle of this, so it doesn't absorb as much as a traditional kind of applicator sponge like an auto detailer sponge. So I'm going to demonstrate this as well, and we're going to put it into a little bowl of our solution, and I'll put it on. But keep in mind, this solution, Easy Armor, dries virtually on contact, 10 to 15 seconds. It's dry to the touch. Okay, I went ahead and pre-poured some of the Easy Armor into a plastic container. And as I mentioned before, there's a sense of toluene, which is that, again, model glue smell. If you're offended by that, you know, you maybe have your body turned so you're upwind from the solution. Certainly you're able to use masks if you prefer for comfort, but it's not needed in an environment outside. I would definitely suggest it if you're going to do it interior and open up the windows. So again, my preferred applicator would be the flat fold diaper material. And we're just going to dab it a little bit. Just going to get it wet on the edge. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to travel it in one direction. Just travel it in one direction. Okay? Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean I can't walk it back the other way when it dries. But you don't want to use it like a paintbrush. We don't want to do this. So we do it in one direction, and that's all you need to do. And I can come up over here on this cowling arm here, this conjunction piece. And we're done with this. And that'll dry pretty quick. Now we haven't done anything in here yet. I don't want to do any coating on here. But again, if I were to take this and go like this, that might be a good little trick. Using this sponge applicator, there's a caution on this. So again, this will absorb quite a bit of fluid very quickly. So all I want to do is get that edge wet and wipe it off like this. Don't want very much. If you have too much, especially when we're doing these rail posts, you're going to get drips coming down. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to wipe this on. We get a transfer of solution. If you feel better about it, we can do a second coat. Again, not too much. Look for drips. Make sure we capture the drips. But that goes on very, very smooth. And I'll put this away here. And by the time I take my glove off, that should be dry. And it is dry. Unlike your lacquers or your veneer, or your other types of coatings, this is an acrylic. It's a high-tech acrylic. Again, it doesn't yellow, it doesn't peel, it doesn't chip, doesn't flake, but it adheres to virtually everything. And that's dry, and it'll cure in a matter of a day or so.
So Barry, thanks for taking the time to kind of walk us through the process.
Absolutely.
I got some questions. They might seem like newbie questions, but I just got to ask you.
Bring them.
Okay.
I love it.
So here we are outside this beautiful day. The sun is shining, but it could just as easily have been raining today. Right. So does weather make a difference when it comes to when I choose to clean my railing outdoors?
Right. So again, there's two aspects to that question. One is the cleaning and one is the coating.
Okay.
So the cleaning probably has no effect unless you enjoy being wet while you're doing it. The moisture is probably not the issue because it's a liquidized chemical, water-soluble chemical, so that's probably not an issue. But when it comes to the coating, we don't want to put a coating down when it's a wet surface.
Okay.
One, against the ocean, we may be precipitating, again, salt water, airborne controlled salt water onto that surface, and we enclose that with the coating. Now we've embedded it, and it's going to continue to be actively eating.
Okay.
On the other hand, coatings don't always want to adhere when it's on a wet surface. So we want to have a situation where it's at least a dry area, perhaps a tent, as long as there's not much humidity.
Okay.
Right.
So Barry, I want to run something by you. So, AGS, we sell stainless railing all over the world. And I get this question from time to time from people. They said, okay, well, is there a schedule that I can kind of set up in terms of when I should do some kind of maintenance on my stainless railing? And what I typically tell people is that it really depends on where you're located, like what the circumstances, what's the environment in the area you live. If you live like right by the salt water and you've got a infinity pool, so you got chlorine and sodium and all these things going on, that's probably going to be a different maintenance routine than if you're in the mountains,
Exactly.
right, in the Midwest or something like that. So is that a fair response? It kind of really depends on where you're located.
Yeah, so proximity to, as you say, the sodium chloride, so the salt or the chlorine from the pool. And also it would be for by jet aviation, if you're by an airport, or a lot of pollution from cars and such, where you get that collateral air channel and it settles onto the metal. But if you're out in the desert, like you suggest, now keep in mind, sand from the desert contains salt. Most people don't think that.
Yeah.
But it used to be an ocean. So it has a lot of salt embedded. So if you get salt put up onto your metal, sometimes over time that can also aggravate that surface.
Okay, well that's helpful. It would seem to me then that it depends on where you're located, and then also you just want to periodically check.
Right.
How is your railing reacting to the environment that you're in?
Right.
So Barry, here's my other question. So a lot of times, say, you buy a home, you've been in it for a while, it's got beautiful railing on, the owners that you bought from didn't really explain to you how to necessarily keep up all the things in your house. So
Right.
Are they walking you through how the HVAC system works? Are they walking you through how to operate the awnings on the deck? Maybe, but maybe not. Same thing with maintaining your beautiful stainless railing over time.
Absolutely.
Can I just, if I look out and I see there's a little bit of tea staining going on, should I, let's say I'm not using your product, I know, heaven forbid, but can I just grab something out of my garage and just try to clean my railing? Is that okay or bad, or is there stuff I should avoid?
Excellent question. So when caring for stainless steel is a very durable metal. It has a very delicate finish, and it is subject to chemical damage. So one of the things that is most readily available at the grocery store would be a product called Barkeeper's Friend. Okay, we utilize this product when we do, as a metal restoration company, we're in the home very often restoring stainless steel appliances and such. So Barkeeper's Friend is a very friendly product, the basis of which is oxalic acid, which is very effective in polishing and enhancing stainless steel. So that in itself is a very good solution. Doesn't have any protective qualities though. Okay, so it'll clean it down. Now we're going to step back one moment. That's assuming we don't have a coating on our surface. If we have an established coating put on through our system and through AGS, provided that way, then we don't need to do any of those things.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a raw metal installation and it's a new install and you have tea staining, as you say, in a few days, weeks, months, again, Barkeepers is an effective process.
I appreciate that. Is there something I should avoid at all costs if I'm looking out in the garage for some cleaning solution?
Yep, absolutely. We never want to use a chlorine-based cleaner or a bleach-based cleaner. That'll aggravate the chromium and again cause the rusting. We don't want to use an ammonia-based product. Okay, so a pH balanced soap is probably very good just for a general maintenancing. But again, once I provide you this salt inhibitor product as a wash, that in itself would be able to take care of this.
So you've done great in just laying all this stuff out for us. There's one other question I'm thinking of. So I have somebody over, we're out on the deck, and maybe one of the kids is fooling around with some keys or something else, and they just put a scratch in my beautiful stainless railing system.
Absolutely.
What, I got to just replace that piece, or try to get the manufacturer to send me another one? What are my options?
Da, 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 da. Funny you should ask. So, again, we are a restoration company, specialties in stainless steel. I invented a process years ago called Scratch-B-Gone for taking scratches out of stainless steel and restoring that long linear finish. So if I have a circumferential grain, and we've discussed here, and I have a blemish from somebody chasing something around or the kids, and it gets scarred or marred or gouged, this will restore that surface and make it look brand spanking new and integrate it back into the pattern. So Scratch-B-Gone this is our contractor friendly kit. All you need is in here which is a variety of abrasive pads and a chemical. And this is a different chemical that we make, which is a lubricating for the abrasives, but also an oxidizing agent. So I can quite literally, if I have a scratch right here, I can work that scratch and work out to here, and it blends in with the rest of the surface. I don't have to do the whole rail. So I invented this on an elevator many years ago, and then brought it to the home builder markets and home appliance markets. So this is available also through AGS, and this is our scratch repair system. So those railings that have a stainless steel cap rail, so you have your ring damage and other things, we can fix that. You can fix that. The consumer can fix it for themselves with a homeowner version of this.
Barry, I just want to thank you for coming out here the East Coast with me and just really helping us to understand the process of keeping stainless looking like new over the years. Thank you so much.